Well, good morning. My name is Woody Wolfe, and I was thrilled to be asked to be a part of this. Give a little bit of my story. In 1981, I was a paramedic on a medical helicopter called Life Flight at Geisinger Medical Center in Danville, Pennsylvania. And it was a new program. It had just started about a week before I got this phone call from the children's floor at Geisinger saying, we've got a 17-year-old up here who's not going to survive his cancer. And all he ever talks about is a helicopter ride as he watches you guys land on the roof. Is there any way it could happen? And I said, well, I've got about a week's seniority here. I don't think I can do anything about that. But I went to the medical director and I said, hey, this is what the call was about. And he said, sure, we'll take him for a ride. We'll take him for a ride when we go to refuel. So we had a flight later that day. We called the floor. They brought him over. We took him to the roof, and we flew around for 20 minutes. And I was with him, was the pilot, myself, and this young man, Dwayne, who that brief encounter changed my life. He kept saying, this is so cool, the hospital's so boring. I said, I play a little bit of music, maybe I could come see. And he said, that would be nice. Before I knew what was happening, I quit my job. I started an organization called Heart to Hand, and I now, Mondays I'm at St. Christopher's Children's Hospital in Philly. Tuesday I'm at Children's Hospital in Philly. Wednesdays I'm at Hershey. Thursday I'm at Janet Weiss Children's Hospital in Geisinger. I do oncology camps. I've done oncology camps for kids in Florida, Georgia, South Carolina, Kentucky, Arizona, Minnesota, Indiana, Idaho, Montana, Hawaii. So I've gotten to know an awful lot of children in the oncology community and families. Last year alone, I was asked to sing at 40 funerals, and about half of those were oncology kids that I knew from hospitals across the country. One is too many. And so when I was asked to be a part of this, and if I could possibly come up with a song, I said I would be honored to be a part. I don't know if I can come up with a song. I'm not much of a songwriter, but every once in a while they happen. And so I just want to share a little bit of my story, because my life has now involved these hospitals. I spend more time there than I do at home. You can ask my wife. We just recently figured out how much I've been away at camp, and it's been 114 weeks that I've been away at camp. So she said, no wonder we've been married for so long, because I've been gone for over 2 years to camp. So I thought I'd start off with the song that I wrote, and then I'll play it a little bit later, but maybe just to give you an introduction to it. I do have to brag a little bit about my hometown. I live in Danville, Pennsylvania. Last year, and I want to encourage all of you here to do this. Last year, I went into my credit union to make a deposit, and they have coffee, and I always get a coffee and go up to make my deposit. And they're used to me joking with them, and so I went up to the window and I said, hey, don't you guys do something for breast cancer awareness? And they're all like, oh yeah, we go pink. And I said, well, why aren't you gold this month? And they looked at me and they said, well, what's gold? And I said, well, it's childhood cancer awareness. And they're like, well, we didn't know. And I gave them the statistics that 720 children worldwide are diagnosed every day. Every 2 minutes there's another child diagnosed. Every 7 minutes another child worldwide loses the battle. And they didn't know what to say with this guy who normally just comes in and jokes with them. But they immediately got on board last year, did an event, raised some money to go towards cancer research, about $600 in that one-day event. I did the same thing at a local, we have a craft brewery in Danville, and I went in there that day to get lunch, and I said, hey, don't you guys do something for breast cancer awareness? And they're like, yeah. I said, why don't you do anything for childhood cancer awareness? They said, when's that? People are just totally unaware. So I started going everywhere I walked in, and I would always say, hey, do you guys do anything for breast cancer? Because I knew they usually do. And it kind of caught them at a moment where they had to say, I'm not sure why we don't do anything for gold. I went into an Old Navy and they had the lemons up for Alex's lemonade stand. So I went in and asked for the manager and said, hey, thanks so much for doing what you do. And he hadn't had anyone actually thank him, but he said, hey, you're very welcome. We're honored to be a part of this. I walked out and I looked at a Kohl's department store that was next door. This was in Harrisburg, between Harrisburg and Hershey. And I looked at the Kohl's, there was nothing gold, so I went in, I asked for the manager, and I said, hey, do you guys do anything for breast cancer awareness? Oh, yeah, we go pink. And I said, well, why don't you go gold this month? He said, your neighbors are. and they're like, what's gold? They're just that unaware. So the fact that we are here is a start. But because of what I did last year, I also went to our mayor and I said, hey, you make a proclamation for pink and breast cancer awareness. Why don't you do it for gold and childhood cancer? This year in March, both the brewery and the credit union got together. They called me and said, hey, we're joining forces. We're going gold this year. The brewery brewed a special going gold shandy. All the proceeds, not $1 a mug, but all proceeds for the entire month are going to childhood cancer research. The credit union is matching whatever they raise. Plus, they have been doing events starting September 1st. We had a kickoff event where the mayor made a proclamation proclaiming Danville as a going gold borough in Pennsylvania. The police department that day put gold bows on every parking meter. So I am so honored to be a part of Danville, where the whole town has gone gold.
The credit union forgot to tell you that they was taking that money out of your account.
Actually, they put money in my account. I ordered the T-shirts and I paid for them, and it showed up in my account. And I said, "Did you guys put this in here?" And they're like, "Yeah. You know, we're not going to have you pay for the T-shirts either." So they reimbursed me. So. So I have to say I'm very proud, and I think there are a lot of communities in Pennsylvania that would do it if they only knew. Don't take it for granted that they know. This past week I was with a family on Wednesday at Geisinger, Janet Weiss Children's Hospital, and I had my shirt on because that night was another Going Gold event at the brewery, and it was a family night with a magician, and I was going to be there doing kids music, and they looked at my shirt and they read it and they said, you know, it's horrible, but we were unaware as well. But now we will never forget childhood cancer. They had just found out the day before, so their son was in to get started on chemo, and again, it's a heck of a way to be made aware of childhood cancer. So I think we can all do a better job of letting people know. We're here today because we've all been impacted by it, but. We need to let people know that are so unaware. And so this song plays on a little bit of all that. And it's simply called Kids Ride. Kids on bikes, kids that play the way it should be every day. But for many kids who ride here today, it's different. Bald heads and chemo lines, prayers that all will soon be fine. These cancer stealing precious days of childhood. Well, I find myself asking why we don't do more as children die. 4% is not a good solution. There's so much more than this, I'm sure. We need to work to find a cure. We need to treat our children as our greatest treasures. It's why we gather here and there to show our support, to show we care. 'Cause there are just too many people out there who still are unaware. So I'll shout it from the mountaintop. This insanity has got to stop. To find a cure, we've got to work together. Kids are starting back to school to do all the things that children do. That time with friends that becomes their childhood memories. But my friends on chemotherapy, alone they will so often be. We're here today to let you know we'll fight for you. 'Cause I find myself asking why we don't do more as children die. 4% is just not a good solution. So much more than this, I'm sure. We need to work to find a cure. We need to treat our children as our greatest treasures. Yeah, it's why we gather here and there, to show our support, to show we care, 'cause there are just too many people out there who still are unaware. Oh, I'll shout it from the mountaintop, this lack of funding has got to stop. To find a cure, we gotta work together. Kids on bikes, kids at play, the way it should be every day. But for many kids who ride here today, it's different.